Hello everyone, I'm Violet and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. This one's going to be a bit different as I, along with Mizuki, will try to understand why you are burnt out from Genshin and give a nice sort of reason as to what we can do to help you relieve that burnout on this beautiful rainy day on the Mondstadt beach. So, let's begin. To first understand, why are we burnt out in the first place? Well, a lot of times, people tend to get burnout when we're going through the same thing over and over again. And many of us tend to do that with Genshin. We log in, we do our commissions, we spend our resin, we save up for whatever character is coming up, then we pull and we may lose the 50-50. And that's all very repetitive. And for people who have been playing Genshin for a really long amount of time, it also gets quite boring. So, how can we relieve that? The first thing to do is so simple. Take a break! Exactly. Taking a break is the most important thing that we can do in order to relieve our stress from this game or relieve our burnt out from this game. You see, this game can feel quite monotonous as it is a gacha game at the end of the day that requires a lot of time and a lot of effort to be put into it. The first thing we can do is to just take a step back and say, if I'm not enjoying this game or having fun with this game, then I should stop playing it. You don't have to take a break from this game permanently, just take a break for a couple of weeks. I also was burnt out from this game around mid-Fontaine. I just did not have fun with the game and I was playing on a potato PC at the time. Nothing felt pretty and the game was very laggy. And I was losing a lot of 50-50s or just not getting satisfied even after getting a 5-star of my fish. Again, this game was just not the vibe for me. And guess what I did? I took a break. I took a break for a couple weeks and then I returned. And then I took a break for a couple weeks, then I returned. But the game was still not feeling magical. What do I do? This is such a bad situation. I mean, I spent hours on this game. I really like this game. What do I do? What do I do? Help me out, help me out. Well, I played other games. I think that was the most effective thing you could do. Download other games. If you want to play other gacha games, you definitely should. I find that playing more video games might possibly help relieve that burnt out feeling you might be having from Genshin. Maybe you want to play other gacha games, maybe you want to play other video games that aren't gacha games. That's completely valid. You know, I feel once we sort of do that, it might help us understand and appreciate Genshin a little bit more. I took a break from Genshin and started playing Wuthering Waves. But I will be honest, I did not have the most fun playing the game. It's not a bad game, don't get me wrong, it just wasn't my kind of vibe, if that makes any sense. So, what I instead did is, I took a break, and then in 4.7, when Jane's Leaf Quest was coming out, I downloaded Genshin back again in 4.7, and my perspective on this game completely changed. Look at this scenery, a quiet rainy day on Mondstadt as I walk around on this cliff. You will return to Genshin after a while, and I think the perfect time to return to Genshin is when we miss the soft grass of Mondstadt. Look at these leaves that are blowing in the wind. Mondstadt is after all your home, you know? And on top of that, we might also miss other regions. You might start missing the sort of cozy and comforting mountains of Liyue. Liyue is, after all, another
Now that the
home.
storm clouds have been swept away, it's time to do the same with our troubles.
Look at the orange leaves and trees of Liyue. And look at this music, man. Liyue just has such a different feeling to it. I honestly really love this game, and Liyue is such a huge part of it. Liyue is so close to my heart and is definitely one of my favorite regions. Also, please ignore my expiration. This is my NA account because I don't own Mizuki on my main account. But again, we might miss the beautiful yellow scenery of Liyue. I mean, look at this scenery. I think Liyue has some of the most calming and relaxing scenery. I mean, what the hell? you're telling me this game is for free, you know? When we start missing that beautiful winds of Mondstadt, or these gorgeous yellow leaves, this soft music, and the tranquil mountains of Liyue, I
Time to
think that is
relax.
when we should return back to Genshin. When you start missing elements of the game is when I think it's perfect to return to Genshin. Or maybe you will start missing Genshin when you return back to Sumeru. You know, you'll start missing that beautiful flute that always plays when you're in Sumeru, the gorgeous leaves. I mean, look at Sumeru's scenery. And look at that grand flute that's playing in the background. Sumeru is such a unique and very different region from the other regions in Genshin,
Turn
honestly.
that frown upside down.
Exactly, Mizuki. You better turn that frown upside down when you're exploring Sumeru. I mean, look at this scenery, man. It's such a beautiful region, and it's actually my favorite nation by far. I'm so deeply attached to Sumeru, and the biggest reason is definitely the music. Why don't we take some time and try enjoying the music a bit? You know, let's go to some quiet little store or a cafe and just sort of enjoy the music. You know, let's do that. Let's try to relive some of those first times when we went to Sumeru. You know, imagine, I still remember how hyped everyone was for Sumeru. So let's go to some nearby cafe. Pushpa Cafe is quite popular during the morning. So let's just take a walk to the cafe and enjoy this music. Honestly, Sumeru truly has some of my most beautiful memories I've made in this region. And if you ever tend to maybe not miss those tranquil mountains of Liyue, the grand music of Sumeru, the soft winds of Mondstadt, I'm sure that everyone will miss the waters of Fontaine. I mean, Fontaine is just so precious to everyone. You know, everyone loves this nation. So, you know, if you start missing this beautiful, beautiful sky and this gorgeous water that flows through the nation of Fontaine. When you miss that is when I think
Sweet
you should
dreams.
return to Genshin. I mean, look at these mountains, look at this view. I think Fontaine is so unique and so precious to, I think, the community as a whole. It was considered as the peak of Genshin and like a freedom from the desert of Sumeru. But I think the desert has its charm, and look at this. Look at you. You're so cute. And maybe, just maybe, you might also, just maybe, miss, you know, Natlan, which I know for many of you, Natlan is the reason for your burnout. But you know, I think Natlan, she has her charms for sure. I think the Signs of the Canopy are some of my favorite tribes in the game. You know, compared to the other tribes, I love the music, and the Saurian is just too adorable, man. I mean, I think when you start missing these adorable little critters is when I think you should return to Genshin. I mean, look at them. Sadly, I will also have to admit I am not that you know, far into this account, so I do not have Inazuma unlocked. But I'm sure everyone knows tranquil sakura petals that flow through, you know, Inazuma. I think Genshin is such a unique and such a varied game, with each and every like scenery being so different. So I think my biggest advice to everyone is just to take a break from Genshin, play some other games, enjoy some other media, and come back to Genshin when you truly enjoy it. That is Violet, your favorite Mizuki mate, signing off.